WPSL Port Saint Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Very pleasant good morning. It's 11:08 at WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Time now to scoot on down to Harbor Place. And Katrina Beasley, Executive Director, is with us at Harbor Place. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Greg?
Doing well, doing very well. So what's happening at Harbor Place post Labor Day?
Trying to catch up from yesterday, from not laboring, I tell you.
Isn't that amazing how that works out? Yes.
Exactly, yeah. Busy day, but of course, now that Labor Day is over, we're gearing up for the fall. And so have a number of events that we have planned for this month and then going into the last quarter of the year, right, which is probably the most busy is that October, November, and December. And so we're excited with many of the events that we're able to host and invite some of our friends from the community to come out and share with us. But it's been quite busy and can't believe it's almost the end of the year.
Well, I know once you hit October, it is truly the downhill run at Harbor Place. You never stop.
Absolutely. And again, like I said, we're just getting over the summer events that we had going on. And so this Thursday, as a matter of fact, we have what we call our last event before the big events happen, which is our Dash and Dine on this Thursday. And what that is that, our friends and those potential prospects can come and tour the community. See some of the services and the amenities that we have to offer. And then at the end of the tour, they can take home a delicious 3-course meal. So yeah, absolutely. So we are expecting quite a few to come and tour the community. But if there's anyone else out there who might want to just stop by, that's curious and then want a delicious meal, don't have to cook for the evening, call us and RSVP, and we'll be happy to host you here at the community.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what all the remodeling is like, because it's you were beautiful in the first place, and then all of a sudden remodel really made it like a brand new building.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So with the granite countertops and the new appliances going into the community, every 257 apartments have been renovated, as well as many of our meeting rooms and dining room areas. So we are new, and we're certainly, excited to be able to showcase, again, the services and the amenities we have here.
Well, and for folks just tuning in for the very first time, I mean, it is a very big step, but knowing, just getting a little bit older as I am now, I don't want to climb ladders. I don't want to clean gutters. I don't want to wash roofs or anything. I mean, and that becomes a major task when you're worried about balance and stuff.
Yeah. So, just like with any homeowner, right, there's always something to do at the home. And then it does get to a point where, physically, we're just not able to do those things or want to do those things. We want to be able to enjoy more of the lifestyle, right, that we're accustomed to. And so here at Harbor Place, that's one of the things that we can help with, right? You don't have to worry about lawn care. You don't have to worry about, housekeeping, cleaning, somewhat large homes anymore, meal preparation, even transportation out to the various shopping or different excursions. And when you move into Harbor Place, those are things that we can take care of. And then you can really have time to enjoy some of the things that you may not necessarily get to do because you're having to maintain this household, right? And so if you love cards and you love music and just sitting and socializing with others, or maybe taking a trip out to the museum or to the botanical gardens. Those are things that you can do right here at Harbor Place. It doesn't mean that you come here and then you just sit, sedentary and do nothing.
Well, and I think the big thing for folks who may be getting up there in years, but um, want to be able to continue driving, you've got folks in independent living who do exactly that.
Sure. I mean, that's probably one of the most hardest things, right, to give up when we talk about independence is driving, because it is a sense of freedom. There's no one telling you when you can go, what time you have to get back. And so, even with our independent living residents, while they are here and while we offer transportation, certainly we will continue to encourage them to drive on their own. But certainly, if there's a day or two that they don't, that's why we have our buses and our cars here that are able to take them to their various medical appointments or shopping or wherever it is that they have to go within the Martin and Port St. Lucie areas.
I think that's great. I think that's really wonderful. And the big plus for you as well is information. And the speakers that you get, like Dr. Jason Watt, just as an example, the memory doc as well. I mean, this is all valuable information, not just for your residents, but for the outside community of the Treasure Coast as well.
Absolutely. And so, part of what we do here is we are always wanting to, what we call it is, um, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it is. We have this initiative going right now called Growth Tracks. And so we do focus in on many of the senses. But one of those things is to grow your mind, right? I think that's like the title of it. And so each month we're able to bring in a professional. It could be whether it's medical or maybe it's talking about wills and trust, long-term planning, whether it's talking about those who are veterans and, the support that the Veteran Administration can give to either a veteran or a spouse of a veteran. So we're always looking to educate not only our residents that are here, but those in our community, right? Those who may be thinking about assisted living and thinking, or independent living and thinking, you know what, I'm not going to get any information. I'm just going to go there and I'm going to be sedentary. But we're always looking, how can we grow the mind?
Yeah, and for folks just thinking about this as well, um, my wife and I were analyzing the home insurance stuff, which is, obviously it's skyrocketing throughout the state of
Sure.
Florida. And, you know, a couple of weeks back, you had talked about um, the, if you want to weigh the costs of owning a house now versus Harbor Place, which has all of these amenities, that it's almost a push.
Yeah. So that's one of the things when someone comes in, whether it's a family member or the actual potential resident, and they're thinking, well, this cost per month is so much higher. But when you start to factor in all of the things, insurance, taxes, you know, um, grocery shopping, if you don't do your own lawn, so lawn care, maybe you have someone that comes in and does some tidying up of the home for you. If you have a car, you're looking at the maintenance of that, the gas, right? The upkeep, and then of course just thinking about the social setting of that all, right? So when you start to just really do like a cost comparison between what we have here at Harbor Place and that monthly rate versus what you have at home, I mean, you'll find 9 times out of 10 that it's affordable. It's more affordable for you to come into this type of setting versus staying at home.
Well, and I think the fact that you offer the socialization too is so important.
Sure. I mean, you have access, right? Like if you're in your own home, that means you've got to either drive out or wait for someone to come pick you up so that you can socialize with some of your friends. Whereas here, you simply get on the elevator, right? If you're on the third floor or if you're on the first floor, you simply walk down towards the lobby area or one of our meeting or activity rooms, and you got all of the socialization you need, with 10, 15, 20 plus residents attending an activity at one time, or just even in the setting of dining, right?
Yeah. And, by the way, I saw your pictures on Facebook of the water event at Harbor Place.
Yeah,
That looked like that was an absolute ball.
sure, it was. I mean, our residents at first thought, what? What are you gonna do? And then we demonstrated, and it only took one resident to do it. And then we must have had about 30 residents who actually got on that llama and had that little slide ride, right? I mean, they didn't get too wet. We did have the water hose going a little bit, but they didn't get too wet. But it was absolutely amazing that they partook of the event. And then of course those that were watching from the sideline. And then we had some other water events that took place. And we had residents who were actually throwing water balloons at us. They wanted to get in on the fun.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it.
and then, of course, just bringing back memories with having the ice cream truck, right? They're here on the campus, and the residents going up and being able to order an ice cream bar or an ice cream cone or sundae, right? Which really just kind of brought back memories for them, when they were growing up and being able to hear the truck in their neighborhood ringing the bell and then going out and getting a nice cold treat. So it was great. It was a great time. It was a great way to end the summer.
The pictures were just simply amazing. And it's funny you say that about the ice cream truck. There was a big story on CNBC last week that Good Humor, which had ice cream trucks throughout the United States, going bankrupt now. And
Oh wow.
it's a different time.
Sure. Yeah.
It just is, and things
It
change.
really, yeah, yeah. I mean, because you've got so many different variations of ice cream these days. But I tell you, we offer probably about 20 different flavors here of ice cream. It is amazing how much ice cream our residents eat. But it's great because they can get it at any time, right? With their meal, for their meal. And during our birthday, whenever a resident has a birthday, so they have a couple of options, right? So they can either get a birthday cake or a sundae. Well, most will opt out to a sundae. And I tell you, those sundaes, man, I don't even know how they eat it all. But it's usually like a brownie or something, and it's loaded with all of these different ice creams, however many ice creams they want on it, and all of the chocolate fudge and cream. And I tell you, so really, I mean, again, it's all about just making sure that we're celebrating our residents, that they are in a good place. They've made a great decision and they're here to have fun, and we're going to take care of them in the interim.
Sounds like a 4,000 calorie dessert.
Yes. And I'm amazed that they actually eat it all too. So,
Well, let's talk a little bit about this event on Thursday, because
mhm.
folks driving around right now, uh, put it in the book that if you're toying with this idea, it's a great lifestyle. Um, hey,
Yeah.
come on down.
Yeah. And again, so from 3:30 to I had to think about what time. From 3:30 to 5. Yeah, we're hosting those who want to come in, tour the community, see some of our model apartments, whether it's a one bedroom or a two bedroom or maybe a studio, see some of our apartments, see many of the services and the amenities that we have to offer here, meet some of our residents as well as our associates here. And then, of course, after that, we'll be, happy to answer any questions that they may have. Make sure we share our brochure that will have some additional information for them. And then, of course, again, taking home that 3-course meal so that they don't have to cook for the evening. So, which is great.
That's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, on a daily basis, you and Pat and really the rest of the staff can give somebody, if they just walk by, a tour of the facility as well.
All the time. I mean, last week we had two persons who were in the area, had heard about the community, and they just stopped in. And certainly Pat did one tour, I did another tour. So we're always here, and we literally stop what we're doing because, right, if you took the time to just come in, right, we want to make sure that we honor their time. And so we took the time and we shared the community with them. And then at least they have some information, right? We're educating them, they have the knowledge. And so whether it's today or this year or maybe a year from now when they finally make that decision, they're informed and they're better for it. So come on by at any time. Just stop by the community. We're here for you. If you're just riding around and you're not sure, call us 772-337-4330 and just come on in. We'd love to host you.
And I think still a reminder, because we are still in hurricane season, you are fortified. There's no doubt about it. You've got backup generators, and the building is like a rock compared to some of the others in on the Treasure Coast that are not quite as strong as Harbor Place.
Oh, sure. With the renovations, we were able to bring many of our windows up to hurricane code. So they are the hurricane impact windows, especially on our first floor. We do have some areas that we can put shutters up should we need to. But certainly we're not in an evacuation zone, so we do shelter in place. And with that, we are prepared. If we lose power, we are prepared with our backup generator. We have plenty enough fuel to last us for about 96 hours or more, with the agreement that our fuel company will come out and top us off again. Have all of our hurricane food in place, all of our water. So, we'll have a good time here having meals and eating and snacking and being safe at the same time. So we are ready. We pray, right? No storms come this way, but if we do, our comprehensive emergency management plan is all intact. Everybody knows what to do. And so we initiate it and we carry it out just as we've designed it, and our residents are safe.
The one good thing for you at Harbor Place is the close proximity to St. Lucie Medical Center. You're in FPL's hospital zone, if you will, and so that is a major priority, is to keep that zone up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is one of the pluses, is being on the same grid as the hospital. So the expectation is we lose power, we won't be days without power, right? But even still, for that short period of time or whatever that looks like, we do have our backup generator. We have areas that we have designated as our area of refuge. And those are areas that we can keep our residents cool with an ambient temperature of 80 degrees or below. So we do have those both in our independent living community and our assisted living community.
That's great. That really, really is phenomenal. And I think the fact is, you're not the folks at Harbor Place during a hurricane are not eating MREs like some of us.
No, I mean, no, absolutely not. Certainly one of the first things we want to do is make sure we go to our freezers and our coolers, right? So we're still preparing those meals because our kitchen operation is on the backup generator as well. And so those are the things that we're preparing first. And, if we go any longer, then hey, we go to the actual hurricane storage closet. But we haven't had to do that, which is a plus for us, which is great.
Yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal. And on the assisted living side, is that almost full now? That since the renovations?
So with the on the assisted living side, we do still have opportunity to grow on our assisted living. We're probably about 60% full. So, but again, still a little bit more opportunity. We find that, that might be more of a challenge, than anything in terms of with the assisted living, but it's full service there, right? We do our assessment of the potential resident, determine what their care needs are, come up with a care plan, and then we implement that so that both the family and the resident know that their loved one is being cared for and that the care plan that we put in place will be the one that they can be rest assured that it actually is going to happen. So whether that's assistance with medications or bathing or dressing or grooming, maybe some escorts down to meals or to activities, we really do put together an individualized care plan for our residents. So it's not cookie cutter. Everyone doesn't get the same type of care.
Katrina, on the assisted living side, are those a lot of medical referrals that would come in there as well? It would be totally different than the independent side, I presume.
Yeah, so we do. We're fortunate enough that a lot of our referrals come by word of mouth. Residents or loved ones who have lived at the community, they will refer out to us. We do have a number of our physicians who come into the community, like Dr. Watt, who will refer some of their patients that they see in the community. That now it's time, for them to be thinking about assisted living, so they will refer to us. I will tell you, probably our biggest we probably get about 20% of our referrals from our medical professionals.
Wow, that's that's pretty staggering number. That's a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Now, Dr. Watt isn't the only doctor that goes through Harbor Place on a regular basis, is he?
No, so we do have three other healthcare professionals that come into the community. Nowadays it really is about insurance. And so what may work for some doctors, maybe Dr. Watt doesn't take their insurance. So the benefit is that we have at least three other physicians that come into the community that are able to see our residents.
There you go. Sure.
Yeah.
And different specialties as well, I presume.
Yep, different specialties. I mean, we do have a podiatrist that comes in. We're still working with a couple of other professionals, like a mobile dentistry, to just so that our residents don't have to necessarily go out. One of the things we found is that bringing in the healthcare professionals into the community, it really does take away some of that anxiety that a resident has with going out to a physician's office, especially if they're having to go alone. We find that we get the information back faster, or we've developed a relationship that if we need a referral, we just pick up the phone and we can call and we're going to get the doctor, not the receptionist at the office. So it does really make for timely care for our residents when we're having the physicians come into the community.
Well, and you think about back in the day when I was growing up in the 50s, doctors made house calls.
Absolutely.
And
So
that's
same
exactly what
concept.
happens at your place.
Absolutely, same concept. Again, I've seen, really where it does make a difference. The anxiety level of a resident having to go and sit into a doctor's office, right? Waiting, because you know what some of those waiting rooms oftentimes looks like. And so to be able to do that in the comfort of their own home, which is what they were used to before, right? Makes it so much easier. And again, for us, and the families and really partnering with their loved ones' care, it makes it so much easier for us to get all of the information right here, same day. Any new orders, to discuss any new conditions, any concerns right here with our nursing team and with our families. It just makes it so much easier for us and for the resident as well.
Yeah, in most of the doctor's offices, it seems like nowadays, they're very sparse. B, they're freezing cold. You almost
Yeah.
need a ski jacket to sit in there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And even for those residents who may not see some of the physicians that come into the community, what we found also since, COVID, is doing telehealth. We found that a lot of that works, especially, with our independent living residents. I mean, gosh, they have it now where you can even they have monitors that they have right next to their phone, and then they just take their, some of those vital signs, and it just dials it right into the office. And so it's one of the most amazing things with technology and our senior population these days.
That is so cool. Yeah, and that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It really is. Well, once we head into October, there are no breaks at Harbor Place. There is no
Yeah.
doubt about it. All the way through Thanksgiving and then on to Christmas.
Yeah. And so, Greg, I was telling you about Grow Your Mind. And so, one of the things we're doing in October and in November is we have one of our VA specialists that's going to be at the community and is going to be talking a little bit more about aid and attendance. How does that work with the Veterans Administration? What can a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, what kind of assistance can they get in terms of their care or with their room and board in a setting such as Harbor Place? So Dwayne will be here. I know in October, I believe it's on the 12th of October, he's going to be here. And then he's coming again in November, just to really inform, right, our veterans or spouses of veterans or loved ones, about that. I mean, gosh, it's such a benefit to those who have served.
And Dwayne is a genius when it comes to that stuff.
Absolutely.
Every little nook and cranny of the VA, he knows exactly what's going on there. And yeah, that is invaluable. So both October, and of course he's always around Veterans Day as well.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Because there are so many families who don't know about that benefit. And you're right, Dwayne. All you got to do is tell him when you serve, and he just goes from there. He can tell you the amount, all of the other things, and so he is such a benefit to us. Where he's talked to potential residents for us, and that really has been kind of the deciding factor as well for them to make the move into the community setting.
Yeah, that does not surprise me whatsoever. Yeah, he's the best, and
Yeah.
and you can see him twice at Harbor Place in October and November. I think that's phenomenal.
Absolutely. And then, of course, with the holidays, we're going to be showcasing our dining team, especially our cooks. So in October, we're doing a buffet play on Halloween. So,
Costumes and stuff.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. So, but it does. I mean, the last quarter of the month, going into the end of the year, it promises to be spectacular. So, I would encourage those to listen out to hear on WPSL, and then of course look for some of our information that we share in many of our publications that hit the community as well.
Boy, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. I don't think we've talked about that. Are there religious folks who come in to Harbor Place at all?
There are. So we have a couple of churches that come in, and then now this month, September, with the High Holy Days coming up, so we do have a couple of folks who are going to be coming in and helping our residents here who practice or take on the tradition of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and so we have a couple of groups that come in. Right now, we're working with the church to do a Wednesday night Bible study for our residents, and then for those who want to come in as well. And then getting back to, we used to do a Sunday service here, so we're working out the logistics again to have a Sunday service here as well. Communion and Rosary happens on Mondays, so yeah, for those who think that they may miss out on their religious experience, certainly we try to hone in on that here at Harbor Place. Transportation to church on Sundays as well. So you're never going to lack that, right? So if that's anything that would hold someone back, they still have the opportunity to make sure that they could get to worship.
That sounds phenomenal. And boy, you've got it all there. That's now you're hitting the whole mind and the whole body. I think that's great.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's so important because, again, it's a big decision, right? It's a big step. And most times you're thinking, oh gosh, I've got to give up this and I've got to give up that. And you don't have to give up anything. It's the only thing is that you're just sharing the space with, 100 other plus residents, right? But it's more, if you look at it as more of the social setting, it's the setting that you weren't probably getting at home, and you don't have to do a whole lot of work to get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like being back in college. You just have a few roommates.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And as you're walking through the campus, you start to see some of your friends, right?
There you go. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Well, now you talk about the food, and obviously, you have been noted for this for decades at Harbor Place.
So, the food we do work on, we work off of menu cycles. Right now, we're getting ready to, in October, we're going to go to our winter, no, fall, winter, I'm sorry, fall, winter menu, and really just, hone in on, some of those favorites that the residents like and love. Obviously it's not their mother's cooking, right? But I think we do a pretty good job of making sure that the recipes that we have, that we're following them, that the meals are tasty, that they are healthy. We try to have a variety of items that the residents can choose from, where if someone's more health conscious, having more of those fresh vegetables and fruits on our menu, as well as those that might like more of a heartier type meal. So maybe some of the potatoes and the beef, we offer that as well. So there, you won't starve here at Harbor Place, that's for sure. Offering 3 meals a day, as well as unlimited snacks throughout the day, and certainly can cater to our residents if they're having a special celebration here at the community, as well as some of our local community organizations that come in, that we will host them, and then they'll actually ask us to cater a meal or so for them.
I think that is phenomenal. It really is. I think back, and this goes back, wow, a couple decades really,
Oh
when
boy.
you used to host our morning show. It was once a quarter, and
Okay.
and the guys would get there and set up about 5:30. Well, I was engineering it at the time for them, and it was Ed and Charlie, and your chefs were phenomenal. And of course, they would feed them while they were on the air. They're just raving about the food for the
Yeah.
next 3 weeks at work. It was great. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and some of the residents were just an absolute hoot. We'd interview them during the show, and it was great. It was pretty early for most of them
Yeah.
because we were on from 6 to 9 in the morning. But
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah, oh yeah. But
Oh my goodness.
that
Yeah.
was a kick. That was a kick, and they really, really enjoyed it.
That would be good, man. I mean, gosh, Greg, we should host you again. You guys got to come into the community again.
Oh, you're a glutton for punishment. Don't volunteer that.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Oh my goodness. That would be great.
Oh, and Mr. G and Bonnie, I'm sure would have a awesome time as well. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it. But
Yeah.
again, going back to the community groups, post COVID now, you're inviting community groups in to use the new back room and conference room.
Yeah. So yeah, we have started with the groups coming back into the community. We're hosting our retired nurses. We have an Alzheimer's support group that comes in. There's a one group, they do bridge and some other card games. So they come in on Mondays and play. And then of course our residents can join them with that. Like I said, we have some of our religious organizations coming back into the communities, especially on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, we'll start doing those Bible studies again. I mean, right now we're looking to have one of the veteran groups come in to not only be with our residents here, but of course, bringing some other veterans into the community. So, again, those are some of the things we want to partner with some of those local organizations out there. Come in, use our space. We have beautiful rooms here, areas that they can come and meet our residents, encourage our residents to join their groups or their organizations as well. So certainly if there's an organization out there and you're looking for a spot to meet once a week or once a month, please give us a call here at the community, 772-337-4330.
And the fact that you can supply food for their meetings is a huge plus for that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had a couple of social workers come in the morning time, have their meetings here, and all they've asked for is coffee and juice. So whatever it is, we're happy to be able to support.
That's great. That is great. And you mentioned as far as the apartments, there's like 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, and you can even get a studio if you're by yourself.
Yeah. So we have about 5 floor plans in our independent living community and then 3 in our assisted living. So anything from a studio to a 1 bedroom to a 1 bedroom deluxe, or 1 bedroom with a den to a 2 bedroom, as well as we do have a couple of apartments where we can do some companions where we do share, but just a couple of those. Most of the residents have their own apartment. They don't share. But in our assisted living, we have a couple of apartments where we can do 2 males or 2 females that would share, just from a price point perspective.
Sure. I get it. That would be something, to say the least. Well, and I know you used to, on your website, have the diagrams of the rooms. Are they still there?
They are. They're still available on our website. You can see the many floor plans that we have to offer. Or if you want to get more information, just simply give us a call, provide your email address, and we can send that out to you digitally as well.
Oh, good idea. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Make it easier.
Harbor Place, just a click away.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's where we are today. I mean, that's exactly where we are today. But I think that's great. Well, once again, this Thursday is your meet and greet.
Yep, this Thursday is our Dash and Dine. This is where you can come in, tour the community, learn more about our amenities and the services that we offer here at the community. We'll answer any questions that you might have. And then at the end of your time here in the community, we'll send you home with a 3-course delicious meal.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And the phone number for reservations?
Sure. The reservations, call our concierge at 772-337-4330 and just let them know that you want to RSVP for our Dash and Dine this Thursday, September 14th.
And I'll tell you personally, Essencia is about the best you've got. She's amazing. She is amazing at greeting everybody at the front desk.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the schedule is starting to really kick in. I think, but I think the important thing is the fact that you had mentioned veterans groups, and I know we have several veterans group, and a congressman, Brian, if you're listening, you may know some of them. So pass the word along that Harbor Place would love to host some of those meetings with the veterans groups in the area.
Absolutely. Because, Greg, we're so proud of those that have served our country, and they are too. And, of course, they want to tell their war stories and they joke around with one another. But, it's nothing like being able to say thank you to those who have served our country and now are still here to share some of those stories with us. And so one of the things is we'd love to be able to host a group of veterans that would come in, and then certainly have our residents who are veterans here join that group and just have a really good time just sharing some of the experiences as well as learning too, maybe some of the challenges that they've had to face, as they're aging, as veterans, and then just really a source of a resource, right, to many.
I know we were interviewing one of your residents who was a wave during World War II, and she was explaining some of the things that she went through,
Sure.
and a lot of stuff that we probably shouldn't see,
Yeah.
and she lived it, and
Yeah.
but it was, as she said, she was stronger for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The resiliency of it all, right? So that's why, it's one of those amazing things to hear the stories every day, from our veterans that are here. So I'd love to be able to have a group come in to do that. So we're talking now, but I don't know if we've, gotten anything concrete just yet. But if there is one veterans group out there and you need a place to meet, hey, give us a call.
That sounds great. Well, the other thing too is, in talking with your residents, the fact that some of these people back in the day were huge in business, finance, you name it. I mean, or in the case of a couple of the ladies that were international in nature, they were working for conglomerates in the day, and you think, wow, this is incredible, absolutely incredible, their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. To learn and to hear some of the professions, some of the places that many of our residents have traveled. I'm in awe. I was talking to one of our residents he started at his college, the first women's soccer team, right? And they went on to compete. I don't think they won a national championship or anything, but certainly he was an integral part of starting this women's soccer, right? I've had some of our residents who have traveled the world and been like really just like dignitaries, to so many of our foreign countries, attorneys, those that have ran hotel chains, right? Some who have worked for national companies, produce companies, meat companies, grocery chains. I mean, it is just amazing to hear the stories, right, of their lives. They've shared about their families, the dynamics of their families, what happened when they were rearing their kids, vacations they've gone on. It's just it's a most rewarding experience to be able to hear those stories, because oftentimes we see older adults and we just see older adults, but you know what, they had lives too, and they're the same person that they were as a child, growing up, attending middle school, elementary, middle, high school, college, raising a family, and then now aging, right? They're the same person. It's just those steps. And so it is, I tell you, you can't beat it. It's one of the most rewarding experience and work that you could do.
Yeah, one of your folks, I think she was involved in kind of consul general's office or something in France, and then she was talking about traveling to Austria all the time. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really amazing.
Absolutely.
And she loved Harbor Place, just
Yeah.
absolutely loved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's history, right? You got your history right here. The lessons that you can get each and every day with engaging with our residents. And so it's one of the most amazing things. And those that have served in the military, right? And the wars that they fought and the experience that they had with that. I have one resident who had served alongside with Elvis Presley. Can you
Wow.
imagine? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing. Just
sure.
amazing. And it was true because he had the photos right there to show us, right? And to share with us is the most amazing thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, when Elvis was in the army, sure. I mean, hey, why not?
Absolutely. It was
That's
the most amazing
incredible.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, those experiences you can't, I mean, it's priceless. You'll carry those with you forever. Yeah.
I once thought when we were there, um, and it was talking with somebody at Harbor Place about, boy, wouldn't this be something if a historian could come in here and get some of these stories and encapsulate it either in book form or in
Sure.
video form? That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, wouldn't that be, I mean, I'm surprised. Well, it probably has happened somewhere, maybe. I don't know. But I would imagine that, some young person that, was into literature or whatever the case may be, maybe that would be an idea of doing some sort of documentary, right? That would be amazing, to be able to do that. And so, hey, I'm telling you, WPSL, right? You can do
Well,
have a little series, have a little docu-series going on.
there you go. Yeah, that works for me. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
But again, Thursday, your wonderful event.
yeah, absolutely. So that's that Dash and Dine. Come in and see the community, tour, learn about the services and the amenities that we have to offer, and then go home with that delicious three-course meal. And it is delicious, I tell you. You don't have to cook that night.
There you go. Wow, that sounds great. I might even no, I wouldn't take
Come
advantage of
on
you there.
by, Greg. Come on
Oh,
by.
yeah, I'll do anything if I don't have to cook. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But again, Katrina, you guys are so amazing. And folks can just pick up the phone, give you a call, and say, I'd like a tour of Harbor Place, and you're there.
Absolutely. Certainly if you're in the area driving by, or, you even right now and you're hearing this broadcast, just give us a call, say you want to come by, and we're happy to host you, to be able to show you the community, both our independent living and our assisted living, meet some of our residents and our associates here, and really just learn a little bit more about senior living, what that looks like. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have, but more importantly, just to be able to show the amazing services and amenities that we have for those who have made the decision to come into this type of setting.
And if you're out there driving around and you are thinking either your mom or your dad served during combat, Daryl's going to be there twice in the next 2 months.
Yeah, yeah.
And he is a wealth of information when it comes to VA benefits.
Yeah, just come. I mean, give us a call at the community. We'll give you the dates for that. We'll mark you down, RSVP you for those dates in October and November. But come and learn a little bit more about the benefits that either your loved one or the spouse of a loved one certainly can take advantage of as they have served in the military. It's an awesome benefit and so deserving for those who have said yes to serving our country.
And as in a lot of things with the federal government, all those forms have to be filled out correctly or else. And,
Absolutely.
and he's the one that can help guide you through all that too. So
absolutely, Dwayne does. He makes sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted. Because if not, they'll kick it back, and then the process just takes a little bit longer. So working with Dwayne. I won't say that it's 100%, but he's close.
Yeah, no, you're
He's
right.
Close.
You are correct. So your phone number again at Harbor Place.
Sure, it's 772-337-4330. Give us a call.
All right, and of course, Pat, Katrina are there all the time, and it's always open for a tour. So
absolutely,
stop on by. Katrina, we'll see you next week. Okay.
All righty. Thanks, Greg. Take care. Bye-bye.
Katrina Beasley, Executive Director of Harbor Place, where you're never alone. This is WPSL, Port Saint Lucie, Talk of the Treasure Coast, webcaster to the world. It's 12 noon.